I'm Leah Mena. Welcome to Stories of Estrangement, the podcast where we delve into the complexities of family, friendship, and the ties that sometimes break. Together, we'll explore the paths that lead to estrangement, the emotions that come with it, and the ways that people navigate life beyond it. Whether you're seeking understanding, support, or simply a space to reflect, this is where we unpack the stories, challenges, and lessons of living with distance in relationships.
My name is Inez. Thank you for having me on your show.
Okay. I'm very excited to have my friend Inez here. She's the first person I tried to get on this podcast, and we've had scheduling challenges.
Yes, we did. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited you're here.
So happy to be here.
We like each other. We enjoy. It's always so fun to see Inez at work.
I love me some you.
Yeah, I love you too. We work in the emergency room together. Super fun.
Yes.
And also sometimes something
Not
else.
so fun.
Not so fun.
Leah always makes it fun though.
I try.
Somehow, whether she's dancing, jumping, skipping.
Yeah, who knew I want to start a podcast where I have to sit the whole time and be still, but
works.
But I really like hearing this. So I'm so excited to talk to you about your story of estrangement. Mm-hmm. What would you like to say to give people context to your life?
Well, I am from New York City, Queens. Been here for a few years, 7 years. Left everything back home. Semi-running, semi just wanted to change. And I am now starting my first week as a nurse. I'm a new nurse now, as you know. I'm Hispanic. I love taking care of people, and I love to cook and drink wine.
You're really good at taking care of people. I think you have a really warm heart with patients, and I always appreciate that. You know, even someone will ask you 1,000 times for the same thing.
Thank you.
You'll just walk in fresh. Mm-hmm. How can I help you?
Yeah. Well, good souls recognize good souls.
Yeah. So tell me about your estrangement. Who's your estrangement with?
My estrangement is with my father.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I call him my sperm donor these days.
Yeah. How did it start?
Well, he was in my life till I was 4, and he was my favorite parent. Sorry, Mom. I don't know if she'll ever hear this, but anyway. He was my favorite parent. We spent a lot of time together. He was always a playful one. And then him and my mom had some falling out, and he left when I was 4, and he kind of stayed gone. So he didn't just leave my mom. He left me too. So yeah, that's who my estrangement is with.
He estranged himself from you from the time you were 4 until about when?
I mean, it's kind of been ongoing. If you ask him, he's not estranged. He thinks he's been in my life the whole time.
Yeah.
And he has not. 4 years old, he started a new family. And he would come and go in the sense of like phone calls. He would say he was going to pick me up. I would wait. I have vivid memories of just like waiting by the window, and he would never show up. And I remember I would be in like the car with my aunts or family members, and we'd be driving like on the bridges, crossing from borough to borough. And I remember this so vividly. I used to see like, at nighttime when all the lights are on in all the buildings. I mean, coming from New York, you see a ton of buildings at the same time, and you see a whole bunch of lights everywhere from the apartments that are lit up. And I used to be like, I wonder which one of those my father's in. And I remember that feeling and just that thought so vividly. He would come and go. He would send me child support whenever he wanted. My mom never took him to court. And even then, when I turned 18, the first week of March. And he was like, well, he used to send me like $100 a month whenever he wanted to. He's like, well, this week is your 18th birthday. I'm only going to send you $25 for the month, because he broke it down in weeks. He's like, well, you turn 18. I don't have to pay for anything again. Mind you, he was never, this is just like not even bare minimum, right? Yeah. So yeah, he wasn't kind. I think his way of loving is the only way he knew how to love. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's how that roller coaster goes.
And so how much are you in communication with him?
So for a very long time, we barely communicated. I would say like 10% of the time we were communicating. Barely ever. I never got birthday cards or, whatever. Whenever we did talk, it was like the little girl inside of me wanted to love him so badly and wanted to be loved so badly that I was always very complacent with whatever I did get. And it wasn't until a few years ago, since I moved here, I've been like my journey to healing, been through so much stuff from then to now, that I'm like, wait a minute. I started realizing my patterns in relationships. And then I realized I never thought I had daddy issues. I mean, how oblivious though of me, because obviously, so I started realizing like my father was my first heartbreak. And so every relationship, I kind of unknowingly was bleeding into it from my own wounds, of my father wounds, which I call them now. It wasn't until, like I said, a few years ago when I'm like, I need to forgive him in order to move on. Like, I need to let this go. I need to make my peace with him. And I've always wanted to tell him about himself. And so I did that last year. And I completely told him off. And I was like, this is what you did. You had to take accountability. Like, I need to move on from this. I have so many questions to ask you. So we had this big conversation. Was he receptive? Not really. I wasn't expecting him to. But after I realized that he wasn't receptive and that in his story, in his mind, it's another story.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to forgive him, even if he doesn't say sorry. I have to make my peace with it.
For yourself.
For myself, for my future relationships, for my future children, and for my sanity, because I was carrying this big invisible monster that was so present. So, yeah.
That's so interesting. What do you think what's his version of things?
I think that, like I said before, he loves the only way he knows how.
Yeah.
And so after being in my position in psychiatry now for a few years, I've realized, wow, I hold a lot of grace and a lot of space for strangers. I hold so much space for strangers. There's issues, right? There's issues here that I have so much empathy for. I don't know these people. And I'm like, I somehow made the connections. And I'm like, my father has some issues. And I'm going to try to pull myself out of all my feelings and kind of acknowledge that maybe he didn't mean to be this way. But his own issues from the past, right? Because he was a kid at some point and he grew up a certain type of way. And nobody wants to be that way. Nobody wants to abandon their children. Something had to happen to him along the lines for him to now be this human being. I believe his version is self-centered. He had his traumas that I learned not too long ago. You know, when he was little, he grew up seeing a lot of violence and seeing a lot of, his parents loved each other on their own toxic love. And he watched that and then he mimicked it with my mom. And I used to watch him just be completely foul to my mother. I think his version, he's unhealed. And I don't think he'll ever understand that. I think the generation that comes before us, they're not aware of the work they need to do oftentimes. You just kind of have to deal with it and move on. But I think his version is a little different. I think he just did the best that he could. And that best for me just wasn't, it was merely like 1%.
There's this idea that I've been thinking about in the last year or so, which is people say like they did the best they can. But sometimes I'm wondering about people's best.
Yes. Like, really? That was your best? Your best was crap.
Your best sucks.
Like, what the hell?
So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that term anymore. I just feel like I'm adjusting to it. So when I told you I was starting this podcast, you're like, I want to talk to you. What does it feel like for you to talk about it? How does it feel like in your body?
You know what? I think this is the first moment that I've acknowledged that I feel at peace, kind of.
Wow.
Which I did not. This is something I thought I was going to sit in here and I'm like, that's going to make me cry at some point, maybe, or whatever the case is. It might still, but I don't know. I feel it's, they say when you're grieving and you don't only grieve people that die, but I feel like I've grieved my father for a very long time, even though he's alive. And they say when you can talk about it without crying, that is how you know that you are doing better. And so my father has been a sore subject for me forever. So right now, I feel at peace. I feel proud. I feel sad a little bit for him because, like I said, I take care of people. And I feel like my father has some sort of mental illness, honestly, whether it's bipolar, definitely major depressive. He has a substance abuse. I know that for sure. And I just wish that I could have been an adult in his life when he was little.
That is so powerful.
And then I also wish that I can I'm giving him grace from a distance, but I wish I can kind of like love on him now, but I know that wouldn't be healthy. I don't think it would be healthy for me.
Yeah. Why?
Because sometimes you just got to make amends and have your closure with people that are not good for you. And I know that although I do it for strangers, I get to go home and I get to leave at the end of the day. I don't think I could pick that up now at the point of where I am in my journey of like, I've already forgiven him and I have to move on. And I don't think bringing him back in is going to do me any justice.
What do you think about your inner child work? You know, when you think about baby Inez or teenage Inez, what would you want to say to her about the estrangement with your dad?
I think I have always thought, why am I not good enough to be loved by him? And I think at this point now, it's okay. I would look back and say, like, it's okay. Like, you're going to realize that it's his loss to not be loved by you or to feel your love. You didn't lose much because had he stuck around, there probably would have been a lot of damage. Had he stuck around, there probably would have been a lot of damage. His loss, really, to be quite frank.
I mean, I feel like this is a very developed, you have done a lot of work around this.
I don't know how.
Because people go to their grave without having the feeling that you're describing.
I think that I've told myself I did not want to go to my grave with these feelings. I did not want to, I don't want him, you know, God bless him, whenever he goes, I don't want to feel these type of feelings for him, these angry feelings. I had to forgive him, whether he likes it or not. Whether I like it or not is the best thing. I've done this without counseling. I haven't talked to anyone yet. It's kind of just like, okay, Inez, you have two roads. Which one are you going to choose? Like, either this is going to continue, take the power back from him. He cannot have this power over you. It was 28, 29 years. I'm 32 now, and I think I started at like 29. I'm like, I really need to like hunker down on this and address it, or else I'm never going to find my partner. I'm going to pass this on to my kids somehow.
The other thing I think is interesting about your life, and I'm thinking about the time frame in which you forgave your dad.
Everything had to happen. I love my boyfriend. I think that had I met him a few years ago, I would have been the wrong person for him. We would have been wrong for each other because I was not the right woman for the man that I wanted. I had to become the right woman for the man that I wanted.
Whoa. I think I'm working on that still. And then the other thing I think is interesting, the time frame in your life here, is that you're in nursing school then. So you had taken, like, sacrifice all this time and energy and all this stuff to your development. So this professional development. And it was not easy. You were balancing a lot. Like every minute you were going from here to here to here. I tried to ask you to dog sit. One time, and I was like, this is your schedule.
Remember, I pulled it out. You were like, what? What is that?
And so, I mean, I just think it's interesting because it's like, so it wasn't that you were able to make time for it, but it's just like you decided it was time.
I think I was forced into it. I think that it was like now or never. Like, it was like, this is it. This is it. You just have to do it. You have to address your traumas. And actually, wait, this is a crucial moment. So during the pandemic, I was isolated. Family didn't want to see me. I was only working, and I was working 2 jobs. I was at the psych ward and I was at the ER. And I was then at home in my own little psych ward.
Yeah.
And I started having panic attacks and anxiety attacks. And then, I mean, it must have been tied in with the isolation and everything and just COVID, period. I had like an actual breakdown. And I was like, okay, how am I going to work? Like, somehow I knew I didn't want that. I was still aware. And then I realized, I don't know where I saw it, but someone said, like, sit down, put on some meditation music, and just go back to your first trauma. Like the first thing that you can think of that hurt you.
Yeah.
There was so much. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing some pieces. And I sat down and I did that. And I was like, okay, like, I'm ready to do the work. Like, let me do the work. And the first thing that came back, my first wound that I went back to was my father leaving when I was 4. And I was just sitting on that mat, just pouring out crying. I was just crying by myself in my house, just crying. I think I cried for hours. And then a very crucial part to all of this was also that I was like, wait, you are not responsible for what happened. You have to forgive yourself. Like, you're carrying all this anger. Like, oh, I wish he loved me and I'm not good enough. Like, no. I didn't make those choices for him.
Mm-hmm.
I was an innocent bystander. But for some reason, I carried it like I did something wrong.
Uh-huh.
For so many years. I mean, decades.
Yeah, decades. I'm sure. Yes, it's very familiar to me.
So that's where my work started.
Wow. And so you could have gone a different path. Substances.
Oh my gosh.
Like bad relationships.
Well, I've done all that already.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, I've had my substances when I was a teenager for grief.
Yeah.
And relationships my whole life. They have been, I mean, not positive. Mm-hmm. So it was time to do something different. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh my! You're pretty powerful.
Thank you.
I think I knew that.
Thank you so much.
Do you have relationship with his side of the family?
So the funniest thing about this, not the funniest, but the craziest part about this is that I always say the one thing my father blessed me with was with his family, because I'm closer to them than I am to my mother's side of the family. Like, I was living here with his side of the family.
Oh, I didn't
Those
know that.
cousins,
Uh-huh.
That's his nephew.
Yeah.
I'm just so much closer to his side of the family. It's like they stepped in as a response to his absence. So I'm very close to them. And they know how I feel about him. I'm very, very vocal about it.
I've had the experience where family members have come in and said, I wish I had done something when you were younger. Do you have anybody that acknowledges his behavior?
There's two sides to it. Because, I have aunts that are they're further away. And they're like, I wish we were closer to take care of you. But I have this one aunt from New Jersey who just swooped in. And she's still in the picture. And I love her to death. But then at the same time, I have, including that aunt, they all condone it. Oh, you should call your father. You're his daughter. And I'm like, he should call me. Like, I should not try to seek a relationship with my father. I'm his child. He should pursue me.
Yeah. What is that like when they ask you that? Does it trigger you at all?
It does.
Uh-huh.
That does still trigger me. But it's gotten to the point where I feel very comfortable saying, like, no, I'm so sorry, but you are not going to downplay my heartbreak. You're not going to downplay my pain. I will not overlook it just to make you guys feel better.
Yeah. And it's an awkward thing because you're just trying to be like, how are you doing? How's your day? And then they're going to bring up this wound.
Yep. Have you talked to your dad? Your dad's not doing so well, or da-da-da-da. Your dad always asks about you. Your dad always... Really? Like, he has my number.
When you were growing up, could you imagine like what this would feel like now to feel healed about your dad?
No. Because I carried so much for so long. No man's ever going to love me. If my own father doesn't love me, why would any man love me?
Yeah.
It was something I carried, and they say, every little girl needs her dad, just like every little boy, needs mom, and each parent has a different, super important role in a life. And I lacked one completely. So yeah, no, it was a lot. I used to watch my friends who had both parents, and yeah, it was rough. No, I could not ever imagine that I would feel how I feel today.
Mm-hmm. That you could talk about it and it's not breaking your heart.
Mm-hmm. Some days it hits me. I'm not gonna lie. Some days it hits me like a ton of bricks. Like, oh my God, like he's not gonna walk me down the aisle. He's not. For the first time this weekend, I moved in with my boyfriend and my cousin here, who is my father's nephew. He's been like the male figure in my family, for my life. And that's just 7 years, the last 7 years. Because before that, I didn't really have much of a male figure. And he helped me move in with my boyfriend. So he helped my boyfriend and I combine our apartments. He helped with the U-Haul. And after he moved the final piece of furniture and he was getting ready to go, he gave my boyfriend a hug and he said, take care of her. And I looked back at him and I was like, I've never had a man say that about me. And that felt crazy.
Could you just appreciate it for what it was, or did you miss your dad in that moment?
I did not miss my dad. I was like, wow, that feels good. That feels really good. I've never had that. Like, that felt like a win that day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, it was. And I told my mom about it. And I told Rick, his name's Rick. I told Rick about it like yesterday because I went by the house to pick up something that I had left. And I was like, man, you said that. I heard when you said that and I felt really good. I told him straight up, I've never had a man do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think what's amazing about that too is that you made space for your cousin in your life in that way, and you haven't closed off that part of your heart.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, he's a great man.
How do you describe this to your boyfriend when you know, like in talking about your life and your family?
I haven't gotten to the nitty gritty of it with him. I think you know more than he does at this point. But I have told him that I have done a lot of work to address my father's absence and make my peace with it, because I did let him know that it was hurting my relationships. Yeah. So he's aware of that.
And how does your mom come into play with some of this?
Yeah, I mean, she harbors resentment for him. She never remarried. I mean, she never healed from that. I think she's still hurting. And it's been 28 years. Whenever he does come up, I mean, there was one point where he was having heart problems and I flew him out. I had this trip to the Dominican Republic, which is where he's at. And I had plans to have that conversation with him. The main one that I had last year. And then
when you were 22,
I had this
plan.
plan.
So this is 6 years later that you actually had the conversation. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So then he was experiencing like heart problems. And I'm like, oh, this man cannot die without me having my last, like, I have to tell him how I feel. I want to go. So at that point, I worked in a hospital in New York. Okay. And I was very close to the administrator of the hospital. And I was like, okay, let's fly him out to New York. He needed surgery. I knew he needed surgery. So he had a cabbage. Open heart surgery. And he arrived in the morning. He had surgery hours from arrival. They like hooked him up. They didn't even care about the benefits or the insurance. Like they're like, we'll handle that later. She completely hooked me up. I took him to our favorite restaurant that we used to go to till I was 4. I took him there and I was like, this is not the right time to have this conversation with him right now. Let me just enjoy this. That little girl inside me was still very much needing that. I hadn't gotten to the point where I am lately. My mom, very closed off, very, she has resentment. I mean, and rightfully so. She needs to heal, but I don't know how that's going to happen because she's not very receptive. She's very protective of me when it comes to him. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you have siblings?
On his side.
Okay.
I have half siblings
right.
who he also abandoned. But he left them first and then I came along.
Oh, wait. And does he have another family? Like a third family?
No, not a third. When he left my mom, he got with another woman who had children. So they had their own little family going, but he never had another kid that I know of. I don't know. Very possible that he's out here having children still. Who knows? What
is your relationship like with his first kids?
I've always wanted siblings. So my half siblings, I tried very hard to have a relationship with them. They're older, but they weren't really interested. And I a few years ago, I found out that they thought he was there for me the whole time. So they were like, why is he there for her? And he left us. And I'm like, you fools. He left me too. Yeah. All this time, I'm like here trying to build a relationship and you guys are giving me the cold shoulder because you're thinking the wrong thing.
It's like so much to navigate as a child. It's such grown up content.
Oh my gosh. I remember the day he left. He left. Oh, I remember exactly where I went to the house, what teddy bear I held, how much I cried, the corner of the house that I was in.
Did he say I'm leaving or what? How did you know that he was not coming back?
Well, he was packing his stuff up and my aunt came to pick him up, and I was just standing there the whole time, just watching him like back and forth. I mean, I'm 4. I'm just watching him pack and we're walking back and forth from the apartment to the car, putting his stuff in the car, loading it up. Oh, and I'll never forget, he came back to the door once he was completely packed. And I asked him for his cologne. I'm 4. I'm thinking about it and I'm like, holy crap, I was only 4. And I had this little Barbie lunchbox with some shorts that were way too big for me. And then a pair of his sunglasses. And so I asked him for his cologne. And because I always used to smell him in the house. And I sprayed it in the box and I closed it. And I remember just hugging him and saying bye and crying, I don't want you to leave. And then I remember he walked away and I went to the bathroom We had a very long bathroom, and I just like put myself in a corner in front of a mirror and I just cried. Yeah, and I get images of that all the time still. Like I just remember, just got like these flashbacks of when that happened.
Like you would have to pry me from these children
Right.
unconscious.
Right.
Like you would have to give me propofol and drag me out by my feet to keep me away from these children.
And I imagine that's how I would be as a mom. I don't know what your background is or what happened when you were a child and if that has any effect on the kind of mother you are today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't know what it is like to tell what you tell yourself in your mind when you just can go ahead and just say, "Oh sure, I'll spray this cologne," and not be just beside yourself with grief.
Like how do you live with yourself?
I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder that too. And that's when I'm thinking he's mentally ill. How can he live with himself? I don't know. He's not a happy person.
Yeah.
You can't. I can't imagine.
Do you feel like people pleasing fits into this in your life, like in your job? And I don't know, is that an element for you?
Yeah, I think I have severe abandonment issues. And I definitely, I'm always saying sorry when I shouldn't be sorry. If something bad happens, like if there's a disagreement or, I mean, not just in my professional life, but just in my life in general. I figure out what I did wrong. And even if I didn't, I find something that I did wrong and I say sorry. As tough as I am and as strong as I am, and like how you said, like you're powerful or you have so much power. Like I'm at the same time very, like I'm so soft and so, I don't want to use the word weak, but it's almost like I don't want anyone else to leave. And then even when it comes with my patients and stuff like that, I think I just overextend myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's the part of, well, I have to make sure that they're satisfied with my presence and with my care and with people, you know, my personal life, with my love. Let me overdo things. And I'm learning that this year. I mean, and it's just February. And I'm just realizing, oh my gosh, I am a people pleaser and I do too much.
Yeah. And because it's like hard to know how this stuff impacts us. I mean, you're certainly unpacking it. And also with your new change of job. It's good that you're walking into this job knowing I'm a people pleaser. That's the other thing that's so interesting about working with psych patients and working in the emergency room. People are not going to be happy with you.
No matter what.
No matter what. So it's good practice.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely gives you a backbone and kind of just teaches you boundaries. It's taught me a lot of boundaries.
Yeah. Is your dad still in Dominican Republic?
Yep. He sends me messages every day on WhatsApp. Just like random like memes like buenos dias y que Dios te bendiga and stuff like that. And there's days where I have 21 loaded up from 21 days because he's been sending them to me. And I just wait to open it. I don't open it. I'm just like, you know, at this point. And then I think to myself like, wow, he's actually reaching out, Inez. Isn't this what you wanted? But then I was like, boy, like it's too late. I forgave you last. I forgave you. Last year when I told him off, he said, I don't know what you're talking about. I was there till you were 18. And I'm like, for you to downplay my heartbreak and my pain is so much bigger than the pain I was feeling already. Like, way to lay it up on me. Yeah.
What do you feel like you'd want people to know about your journey on this?
Good question. What do I want people to know about my journey on this? I wish I would have given myself more grace sooner. I wish that I wouldn't have bled on so many men in terms of just, you know, I was punishing them for my past. I mean, not in a bad way because I'm caring and I'm loving, but there's things about me that I'm still working on that are not healthy in terms of communication and just being. And I wish I would have had more grace for him sooner because, like I said, people don't want to be that way. Something goes wrong for someone to be that way.
Yeah.
So I think I wish I would have. I wish I would have understood sooner that it wasn't my fault.
How do you feel like you could have gotten there, though, I guess?
I know as I'm saying it, I'm thinking it came with time and growth
Yeah.
and
Like,
age.
what does it look like, to have, 8-year-old Inez who's now like on that journey for 4 years, and how do you support her? I mean, it just doesn't. It's like it makes no sense because you have
doesn't.
just like base needs.
Right.
I don't know. I hear what you're saying. I mean, we all want to heal and
Right.
heal faster. I have a joke that I say to myself, which is heal already.
Yeah.
Be done. But
Yeah.
that's just not, it's not how
And I
it
guess that's what I just kind of said. I wish I would have just done it quicker and sooner and gotten over it. But I have to go through everything that I went through to be who I am today.
What does it feel like to talk about him? Do you feel like some embarrassment? Do you feel shame? Do you feel like you can talk about it and it feels okay?
I feel like at this point, it's inevitable. It's something I went through. It's something I'm still going through. It's something I'm still growing through. I'm much better now than I was before. And I'm glad that I'm able to execute my thoughts and my feelings the way that I am now.
Yeah.
I don't mind talking about it at all anymore. I'm in a place of it is what it is. Like I took my power back.
Would it be a red flag if someone judged you for it?
For my estrangement, for me choosing to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I feel like when people do, like my family members, oh, call him or this, or you don't, your dad. Yeah, it's a huge red flag. You're violating a boundary. You don't know my life or my pain or my heartbreak, and you don't know how he is. Like, to judge me for choosing myself, a huge red flag. I don't want anything to do with you.
Because there's so much that it minimizes about you and your experience.
Exactly.
Like you don't see me at all.
Yeah, like everything I just told you, and no acknowledgement, no understanding. I don't think I like who you are as a person. If you don't understand this, like, who are you?
Do you have any advice for people that are struggling with estrangement?
I think grace is a very important word and a very important act to have. And it's hard to think when you're in a place of disappointment and anger and sadness and confusion and grief, like, I'm gonna have grace for this person. But to have grace for them because it's not about you, something's going on there. And to have grace for yourself because, again, it's not about you, something's going on there. I feel like the first component is the struggle won't end unless you forgive them. And you have to be okay with them not ever acknowledging the struggle that they put you through, or that the fact that they caused you so much pain. Like, you have to be able to forgive without them saying sorry. And I think that that's easier said than done. I feel like to say, oh, have grace for them, like so kind and so, but it's the only way that you'll forgive them.
Yeah. Like what other word is there?
You can't, it's not understanding.
It's like grace is almost, it's like space, but gentler.
Yeah. And kind of like
with empathy.
And to give someone grace is to acknowledge that they've done something that's not so great and still, be okay.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be okay with something like this, but giving grace, I mean, like I said, you don't know what they went through. And I think that comes back around full circle. You don't know what they went through. You don't know why they love that way. I mean, I found out that his dad used to beat up his mom in front of him, and he was the only boy, and he used to jump in as like a 7-year-old, and he used to get beat up because he had 3 sisters, but he went through some stuff. You don't know. And I think even if you never know their part, just kind of acknowledging that something had to happen for them to be this way, it allows space for grace.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean you have to please them, that you have to search for their love, that you have to do all those things that you were searching for. It just allows you that place in your mind and in your heart.
Yeah. Take your power back. Because if you're struggling, then there's some dark in there that you're dealing with personally, right? They say hate, anger, and all that towards someone else is just poison to you. So it's like, you got to do something about it. And they might not be there to help you.
Yeah.
Through it.
Yeah. I mean, more than likely not.
Exactly. That's why we're estranged.
funny to laugh about something that used to make you cry?
Oh my God, so much. So much.
You have a lot of insights that I appreciate that I will lose myself in my life.
Oh,
thank you.
That's a big compliment coming from you. Thank you. Thank you for listening and for inviting me to your podcast and for giving me the space and for complimenting me.
I'll compliment you all day, every day.
Likewise.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Today's episode brought to you by producers and editors Leah Mena and Chris Mena. Music by Finn Herman. Thank you for joining us on Stories of Estrangement. We hope today's conversation has offered you insight, comfort, or a fresh perspective. If you'd like to share your story or connect with our community, visit us on our website, storiesofelstrangement.com, or leave us a message at 1-844-ESTRANGE. That's 1-844-378-7264. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. It helps us reach more listeners like you. Until next time, remember, healing and understanding are journeys, not destinations.